Rachel, it's great to see you.
You too.
These are always a lot of fun, sort of jumping back into the discussion in between the webinars.
Yeah, we had some great questions that came up last month that we didn't get to during the session. So the first one is, how effective do you think it was to recall Secretary Blinken from Asia without visiting China?
Okay. Well, whether it was effective or not to cancel or to postpone Secretary Blinken's trip in the aftermath of the incident over the Chinese surveillance balloon, whether it was effective or not, it was necessary. There's simply no way that Biden could have let that incident pass without, in some tangible way, showing the Chinese leadership that it was something not to be tolerated. Biden has already come under significant criticism, not just from Republicans, but from some Democrats too, for not being faster or more forceful in his response. Had Blinken made that trip anyway, it would have been extremely awkward. It now appears that the Secretary of State and his Chinese counterpart may meet in the days ahead in we'll call it a quieter setting, but even a short-term delay helped Biden deliver a message that was an important one for the Chinese to hear.
Our next question is, will the Trans-Pacific Partnership make a comeback?
Easy answer on this one, no, at least not anytime soon. For those of you who've tuned into the webinars on a regular basis over the years, you know that one of my greatest concerns is the rapidly increasing level of isolationism in both political parties. For all of Donald Trump's bluster, both he and Hillary Clinton in 2016 opposed the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And Biden, who had supported the original proposal made under President Obama when Biden was vice president, he at that point supported President Obama's proposal to bind the United States in stronger trade relationships with more than a dozen other Pacific countries. Biden, by 2020, had come out against it and had called for such stringent conditions on trade relationships with those countries that it was pretty much of a non-starter. Since then, the Biden administration, recognizing not only the security, but the economic threat that China poses to the US and to the West, has worked more aggressively to achieve a series of bilateral trade relationships with various Asian countries. But most of those agreements, frankly, are pretty weak, and they are more symbolic, or they concentrate more on security matters. The economic ties that bind the US to the rest of the world, whether it be in the Pacific or in Europe, are weak and getting weaker. And that's a reflection of American political sentiment in both parties.
So our final question, focusing back on the US, do you feel busing migrants from Texas, Arizona, and Florida to New York, DC, etc., was particularly effective or not, and why?
Well, I guess you need to define what effective means. If the Republican governors of Texas and Arizona and Florida wanted to accomplish something that was politically effective, they succeeded, because all three of them, Ron DeSantis in Florida, Greg Abbott in Texas, and then Governor Doug Ducey in Arizona, all realized considerable political benefit by raising the issue to that level of visibility. It's important to note, though, that as time has passed, while Republican governors have been most vocal on this issue, an increasing number of Democrats are beginning to make a similar case. For example, we've seen Jared Polis, the Democratic governor of Colorado, send undocumented migrants into other northern and eastern Democrat-controlled cities. Now, Polis, as a fellow Democrat, does this in closer coordination with the mayors of New York and Chicago and so forth. But concerns about the border are rapidly becoming bipartisan. And so we are seeing not only Republicans, but Democrats feeling like they have to do something about it. No question that Republicans see the benefits of achieving a political gain at the expense of a Democratic president, the same way Democratic governors would at the expense of a Republican president. But if you look at what Biden said and what he didn't say in the State of the Union address about immigration, he sounded a pretty tough line about the border. And that means that Biden and his advisors understand that this is an issue that now concerns not only Republicans, but many Democrats as well.
Thank you so much, Dan. It's always so great, as we said, to come back to these questions that we got to at the beginning of the month. So great to see you.
Great to see you, Rachel, and I look forward to seeing you and everybody else in just a couple weeks when we do our March program.
Perfect. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Rachel. See you soon.
See you soon.